So basically, so it's a kind of department. It will be a kind of relationship. Got it? Multiple employees, single department. So one to many relationship between department and employee. What you will have to do to create a multiple relationship from single department to multiple employees, you will have to create a lookup field on a child object. Okay, you will have to create lookup field on a child object which will be looking up to the parent object. This is what we did here. Employee name, sorry, department on employee, which is looking up to the parent object. Got it? So that's why if you see department, which one was that? Payroll department was that? No, operations, sorry. Payroll, I attached it, right? So now payroll department, we will say this is payroll department, its ID is D003 and the employee 007 is under that department. If you can actually have Aruna and other employees also under department 003. Okay, so this is what is one to many relationship, and that is lookup relationship. But here the difference is you may or may not, while creating lookup on lookup relationship, you may, this is not mandatory, lookup is not mandatory. I may have another record Aruna 1 as employee, age is also mandatory. Suppose I may not put, I may not, if it is lookup, I may not associate Aruna 1 with any department. It's not mandatory for me to associate. Okay, so in that case it's not mandatory, but while defining I can edit, and it was required here also. If I save it, so here onwards if I click on edit, it will ask me to always put that record. But what it has done is, if there was a record Aruna 1 which was previously not having any value of a department, before this field was kept mandatory, so it will still hold blank values. Okay, but had I created, master detail relationship, it is also a similar relationship. Okay, same lookup, same similar wizard will come, but it by default imposes the mandatory master value which will not be changed in future. Once you associate, say for example on employee, the record what was for Jyoti, I think was 8, no 7. Okay, so for Jyoti, I have this her as a payroll department. If I edit in payroll department, tomorrow I can shift her to HR department too. Now that I have put it as mandatory, it signifies I can change her department, but just that as it is mandatory, I have to have a department for her. Okay, but for master, if I had I kept it her master, where was that window? Yeah, I'll have to signify which particular object it will be mastered on. Once I put that, it will always it will always need a value. It will never be like asking for a required or not. It will by default always keep master as a required value, and that master will never be allowed to change. So now I cannot create, suppose if you see field label, field name, I'm creating a master detail here, right? It will show me error ideally. Cannot create a master detail relationship. Why? Because while creating master detail relationship, there should not be any record existing in the child object, because if child object exists, it will be a kind of dirty data now. Because what master says while having master relationship on child record, every that field, I mean department field, what was that field label now? I forgot. Department master. That field should always hold a value, and that will be value held only once. It will never be changed in future. So now there are already on child record existing. All these record exist, and some of may not have any value, okay, and some of may on department master these records. So if I create a new master today, had it allowed me to create this field, what would have happened? All these 7-8 records will not have any master field, department master value associated, which system will never allow. So you will have to first delete all the records. I will delete all the employee records first. I deleted, okay. So now if I go back and now I click on saving, see, now it allowed me to save the create a new field saying department master, because now there are no record exist in my child object on which I created department master. While see, for example, I haven't kept it as a mandatory, still department master came as mandatory. It is also on department. Just to identify the difference, the department is lookup and department master is master detail. Okay, employee name Santosh 1. Click on save. If I click on edit, what will happen? See, master will not allow me to change value. However, lookup will always allow me to change value, and it is also not necessary that I will keep it mandatory or not. If I remove that mandatory one and refresh it, see, now I can even remove this one. But HR department will never be changed. Master is once associated with one particular master. It will never be changed in future. Got the difference?